you look at is, can you compete? Can you do it better than the other competitor? And with that, can you create a P&L statement that works? And the tax rate, that's after the P&L. It's never, ever once been a consideration. So this Republican jigaboo that, it's a tax rate that's stopping business investment, it's just completely faulty by people who've never run a business. They've never been there. They have not a clue what they're talking about.
Sir, did you know what you just said? You just kept going like you didn't say it. Put up the picture full mask. All right. Democratic Maryland Representative David Trone used a derogatory and offensive term for a Black person during a Thursday House budget meeting. This was a hearing last week while trying to, according to, the other narrative, he was trying to say bugaboo. Bugaboo. That's the word he was looking for, bugaboo. Which, by the way, in the context doesn't fit what he was saying at all. Okay, the representative is considered the front runner in the Democratic primary for the Senate. I know some people will say, Doc, why are you talking about a Democrat? I don't give a damn if they're Democrat or Republican. I'm an equal opportunity, put my foot up the ass individual. This was racist, what he said. Yes. And it tells me that he talks like this in his, normative private conversations, and it slipped out. So the representative apologized in a Friday statement to the Washington Post. Let me read the apology. He says, all right, while attempting to use the word bugaboo in a hearing, I misspoke and mistakenly used a phrase that is offensive. Bugaboo is offensive too, but it's offensive for a different reason. He said, upon learning the meaning of the word, I was deeply disappointed to have accidentally used it, and I apologize. Okay, then he said, the word again is a derogatory and offensive term for a Black person. So the Oxford English Dictionary says the word is of unknown origin. It was first documented to be used in a song from 1909. Merriam-Webster defines bugaboo as an imaginary object of fear. Shalanda Young, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, to whom the representative was speaking on Thursday, is Black. She declined to comment to the Post. She wanted no part of it. Now, 5 Black House Democrats are endorsing Democrat Alison Brooks in her Maryland Senate bid days after the representative apologized for using the racial slur. Per Axios, Alison Brooks said of the endorsements, quote, the enthusiasm and support behind our grassroots campaign is growing as we continue our fight for Marylanders across the state, end quote. The reps were Barbara Lee, Democrat, California, Gregory Meeks, Democrat, New York. You have Joyce Beatty, Democrat, Ohio. Yvette Clark, New York Democrat. Jasmine Crockett, Democrat out of Texas. They also endorsed Also Brooks. Tyrone and Miss Also Brooks are seeking to face Republican Governor Larry Hogan, a popular former Maryland governor, for the Senate seat in November. Hogan leads both in a hypothetical general election matchup, according to a Washington Post University of Maryland poll. Let's put up the representative that made the comment again, because his explanation is quite ironic. So he says the terminology that's clearly a word that if you've never heard the word or said the word, you don't just make that word up. It's kind of like news anchors on Dr. Martin Luther King Day, when they're saying Dr. Martin Luther King. You can find it on YouTube right now. Instead of saying King, they have said the word coon on air. They call it a Freudian slip. No, what that means is that's how you talk about him when you're not on TV. And it slipped out in that same way. Well, I think this is exactly what happened with the representative. And the reason why it's a policy issue is because people who create policy are led by their biases and agenda. If you believe black folk are less than human, if you believe they are worthy of your derogatory comments publicly or privately, your policy will expose that. And this is the reason it becomes important for public officials to be 100. All right, Ricky, thoughts here.
Yeah, it's bad. I think he apologized because he got caught, but it really put a lot of people in a bad predicament because what's on the line is the Democrats losing the Senate. You already got a tough Senate race up in Ohio with, I think, Sherrod Brown, and then now this incident or whatever. And Democrats that's running all over the country need the black vote in order to be in office. And you're absolutely right about people say how they really feel, and then it comes out when they're doing public speaking, things that they say behind the scene or whatever. And there's some Democrats out here that's racist also. They might vote Democrat, but some of them just got that racism in them, and it's really bad, and it really put the Democratic Party, in a very tough position because we need all of those Senate seats. Because if we don't win the Senate, if Biden wins, gets reelected, or Trump get elected, we still need the Democrats to be in the majority in the Senate, and that's bad. That's really bad.
Yeah, I agree. It is a political quagmire.